Good morning. You are listening to Money Talk with Melanie. This is Melanie Collette, your business diva. How is everyone this morning? I hope you are well. It is a beautiful day here in Cape May County, New Jersey, although it is quite chilly at 30 degrees this morning. So I'm not very happy about that. Happy Friday to everybody and TGIF. Like I said, this is Money Talk with Melanie on the Exceptional Conservative Network and SHR Media and High Plains Talk Radio. Thank you for being with us this morning. Joining us this morning will be Clyde Riddlesbrood. With Riddlesbrood Touring Theater Company. I'm excited to have him this morning. He's the founder and owner of Riddlesbrood Touring Theater Company. And I thought we'd switch gears. It's Friday, take a little bit of a break from the national and global financial and economic scene. It's been a little brutal this week. So I thought we'd take a little break. And talk about and venture into the warm and fuzzy world of the arts and entrepreneurship, and talk about financial innovation and entrepreneurship with the one and only Clyde Riddlesbrood this morning. So it should be an interesting conversation because we don't usually think much about business and theater and the arts and how entrepreneurship is related to that and actually necessary in order for the arts to thrive. So it should be an interesting conversation, and I'm actually quite looking forward to it. First, a little bit of housekeeping. If you would like to follow me on, Twitter, you can do so at Money Talk Mel. If you would like to like me on Facebook, you can do so at Money Talk with Melanie. Also, right now, I am on Facebook Live. So if you'd like to see this awesome yellow sweater that I'm wearing right now, you can see me on Facebook Live right now. And if you'd like to chat with me, you can also do that on Facebook Live right now. And actually on the Exceptional Conservative Network chat, you can also chat there. I'm going to post the link in one moment to chat there. So we're going to be doing all kinds of fun stuff with that. Also, if you'd like to email me, tweet me, whatever, good, bad, ugly, indifferent. Tell me that you hate my ugly yellow sweater. That's fine. At moneytalkwithmelanie@gmail.com. If you missed the show and you want to listen to it later, you can find me on YouTube. If you just do a search for Money Talk with Melanie, you'll find a show on YouTube, and actually you'll find all the previous shows on YouTube. And go ahead and subscribe to SHR Media, and you'll find all of our other really cool shows as well from the Exceptional Conservative Network and all the other shows on SHR Media. Really top quality shows. Good idea to go ahead and subscribe there so that you can listen to our shows and stay informed. So, one more thing, another housekeeping note. We've had some great guests on our show. Like I said this morning, we have the one and only Clyde Riddlesbrood from Riddlesbrood Touring Theater this morning. We've had Ebony K. Williams, Esquire, Fox News contributor. We had most recently Senator Ted Harvey from Colorado, Dr. Brooks Robinson from blackeconomics.org. If you would like to join this esteemed list of guests on Money Talk with Melanie, please do so by going to the Exceptional Conservative Network website at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. Click on Contact Us and fill out that brief little form, or call us at 202-660-1329. Okay, whew, that was a lot. Anyway, so what's going on in the news? Oh my. So President Trump had a little press conference yesterday. Oh goodness. oh my. Anyway, okay, I'm just going to go through this real quick because here's the thing. See, I'm a really serious person when it comes to policy and stuff and like the running of our government. So he's making me struggle a little bit because he's challenging my seriousness, because I have to say I'm really entertained but by the left just losing their complete you-know-what. So, and the press just going, and him driving the press crazy. So I'm feeling a little conflicted about, him, being himself and him driving the press crazy. I'm really enjoying it. But at the same time, I'm still like, dude, like, what are you doing? So this is what he got accomplished anyway yesterday. Yesterday, he announced his new labor secretary nominee, Alexander Acosta. I hate this. This is the part I hate, right? If he gets approved, Acosta will be the first Hispanic member of Trump's cabinet. And, it's totally, to me, it should be totally irrelevant. Like, that just makes us liberals. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so fine. Like, we check that box. It doesn't mean a whole lot, because I'll give you a perfect example. I'm a former school teacher, and they had like no black people at the entire school, right? So my boss hired me thinking that he was getting one thing because he had no black teachers at the school, and he was utterly disturbed when he found out that I was a card-carrying Republican. Okay? So, because he thought he was getting a black teacher, so of course he assumed he was getting a liberal. And he did his due diligence and checked my social media and found out I was a card-carrying Republican and lost his complete stuff. He was not happy, and I only lasted there a year because he was like really not happy. So, I said that to say, like, the media just puts out these narratives like, okay, yeah, now we have a Hispanic. It doesn't mean anything. Like, stop it with identity politics. Okay. All right, I'm done. I'm going to get off my like, stop it with the racial politics soapbox now. All right. Anyway, so next week there's going to be a new executive order on immigration. Supposedly it's going to be really thorough, and we're not going to have any problems with the court. We'll see. Trump wasn't happy about the intel community, not happy about the intel community leaks, as he should not be. And he's thinking about hiring a private equity exec friend, which, like, dude, why are you saying that? To oversee and review how the intelligence agencies operate. See, now, this is the problem with him not being a politician, because normally how this would work is you would find, this is where the establishment is helpful. Normally what you would do in this situation is you would find a trusted insider. Like, why aren't you tapping Paul Ryan or some other insider like Ryan's previous. Why aren't you finding someone on the inside that we can trust to do that for you? Like, why are you tapping some private person? I'm just saying. And I'm a private industry girl. I'm cool with that, free market and all. But this is where you need a political person. You don't need someone with a learning curve. You need someone who understands the ins and outs and, quite frankly, the shadiness that comes along with politics. You need someone who's devious and cutthroat, because that's what this is. You need someone with no moral compass on this. I said it. Yeah, I said it. You need someone who's just as shady, because this is what this is. You need like a double agent on this. Okay, so we got a Friday fun fact for you. So I found out on one of the sites I frequent. It's called The Skim. It's just fantastic. It's like a little political site, but it gives you it presents everything in like a humorous way. That there is a wine for your cat, because why not? So you feline fans out there, you can buy wine for your cat. It's called Apollo Peak. And the good news is it's all natural, because God knows when you want to get your cat hammered, you want it to be all natural. So that's very important. So when we come back, we're going to go into our first break. And when we come back, we are going to talk to the one and only Clyde Riddlesbrood, the founder and owner of Riddlesbrood Touring Theater Company. We will be right back after this first break.
Radio shows to last a lifetime, courtesy of Sean, Clint, Ken, and Jersey Joe. Now it's time for him to waddle on his own 2 feet via the glorious SHR Media. Gird thy loins for the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, coming soon to Ossicles near you. Excelsior. Hey, it's Jersey Joe from the Reaver Common Sense. You can catch me every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on shrmedia.com. That's every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, shrmedia.com. The best late-night conservative talk in America. Radio. Listen, there's no people better on the air to give you the best conservative talk. The Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on immigration papers for certain other guys that happen to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best late night conservative talk, Sackhead Radio. Late-night conservative talk show in America. In America. In America. And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Okay, we are back. And we have with us this morning Mr. Clyde Riddlesbrood with Riddlesbrood Touring Theater Company. How are you this morning, Mr. Riddlesbrood?
Oh, very good, very good. Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate it. I found it very, very interesting because I actually never thought about this at all, and I I actually was in every play, choir, theater growing up in high school, and I took business. I punked out in college, to be quite honest with you. But I always took it as took theater and song and song and what, song, not song, choir. There it is. I don't know why I called it song. In college, but as a minor, because I was always interested in it. But I took business classes, as all my majors. But I never thought of marrying the two, or as the two even being remotely related. So when I saw this, I thought I really wanted to talk to you about entrepreneurship and the arts and how it relates. So please do tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself and about entrepreneurship in the arts on a theoretical, philosophical perspective, if you would.
Sure. Well, again, one of the biggest things that I think some people have a misinformation about with the arts is everybody always assumes that when you're talking about theater, that you're talking about, I guess you'd say, a highly liberal, maybe very, very left-leaning kind of artistic thing where, there's dancing and it's considered high culture. But that's not all of the arts, and certainly that's not all of theater. And as a touring theater, we kind of drift a little bit more towards, I guess what you'd say, stand-up comedy or circuses or more wild entertainment that's meant for the general masses, not something that's intended to communicate any morals or lessons. So that's one of the biggest things that some people are surprised when they talk to me is that, oh, wait a minute, you aren't actually an extremely liberal theater company. That's unusual. That's different. And the reason is if you really want to talk about the philosophy behind it, is there is a little bit of a barrier, an ideological barrier between, I guess, being very, very liberal and on one hand, and being extremely artistic on another, because to be freely able to express yourself, you need to be free. But of course, if you're tied down with a certain ideology, you're really not supposed to do certain things. There's certain things verboten, certain things that you're not supposed to say. So when you're trying to be funny and trying to be comical on stage, you need to be free to say pretty much anything that might be funny. And that is one of the things that we do.
That is an excellent point. I never thought about it that way. So in other words, liberty and freedom really has a direct connection to theater and the arts, if it's going to be done correctly. If I'm understanding what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like anything, theater or painting or music or anything can be used as a tool to propagate a certain belief system or certain ideology. But people that are in the arts that really want to express their own unique ideas that don't fit into any particular ideology, they really need to be able to have complete freedom. And it's kind of interesting that in this day and age, we kind of live in a unusual period where, making jokes of different types would be considered bad, and you're not supposed to say that. And even though it may be ignoble to say certain things, or maybe it's not always polite, humor at its very essence is pointing at truth that people know but don't always say. And that's part of the reason why people still like dirty jokes, even though they wouldn't say that to their mom,
What are dirty jokes? I'm completely unfamiliar with what you're talking about. I have no
Well, let's
no.
take a safe thing. Let's just say sex. If you were to talk about like sex, now everybody doesn't always get out there and say dirty jokes about that because it will be considered impolite. But if you watch a stand-up comic, they'll get up there and say unbelievably raunchy things.
Absolutely.
And we'll get big laughs. Now, that's just one type of humor, but that's an example of they're getting laughs. People are responding to it and having fun because these are things that they know are true, but they're not supposed to say.
Absolutely.
At least not in public.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You're 100% correct. So what do you, gosh, I'm so glad I'm having this conversation. So what do you account for? How do you account for, especially since you're on the inside, how do you account for the rampant liberalism inside the arts? How do you account for that? How does that happen? What happens there?
Well, I think the main difference is see, for us, we're a touring theater company, but we're a for-profit theater company. So we're a business. Our job is to go out there and entertain people at private parties or events or fundraisers or company parties. So, you know, our mission is just to have people have a great time and have a great entertainment for their dollar. So we don't have any political agenda. We don't have any moral agenda. So that frees us from having to have that. But some arts organizations are not-for-profit, and they may be getting grants or they may be getting funds from organizations or the government in order to have a specific political aim or agenda.
There it is.
So that is one of the reasons why we don't have to worry about that.
There it is. Follow the money. I was just having this discussion with a guest the other day.
That's probably the biggest one. Now, understand too, I'm not necessarily knocking people that have a passion about a certain thing and are willing to go out in the world and make it happen.
Sure.
So if your thing is gay rights or something like that, and you really, really feel passionate about that, and you want to go out there and make shows, fine. I see nothing wrong with that. That's fine. The problem that we run into sometimes is the obstacles that are placed in your path if you want to propagate something unpopular.
Right.
And that sometimes is the downside of that. In this world that we live in of competing narratives.
Right.
So that's the unfortunate thing. On one hand, you want people to be able to be passionate about saying the things they want to say, but you shouldn't also go around and tell other people you can't say what they're saying.
Right. And that's what I mean. Like there is a financial impact these days if you say something that is unpopular. I mean, and it is most evident recently with our current president. I mean, it seems to me that our celebrities have gone completely off the deep end with this president, and completely off the deep end in that they are bullying other celebrities. If they even perform at a presidential event or they say anything positive about our president, then they are bullying that celebrity and trying to take revenue away from that celebrity. And to me, that's inherently wrong.
They're trying to damage somebody. They're trying to hurt somebody because their belief system isn't the same thing as theirs. And the problem with that is, you know, whether you think it's right or wrong, the fact of the matter is people should be able to have the freedom to express those things, and that's what this country was founded on. But some people don't care. They only want to win. They only want their side to win, and they're willing to do anything in order to do that. And that's really where the line should be drawn. They shouldn't be able to go that far.
Right. That's what I was going to ask you is like, why, like, because I assume you're around these people, and like what the thought process was that they felt like are they so high on the mantle of righteousness, like they just feel as though they're so right in their position that it's okay to do that? Is that what it is?
Not really. Actually, in my normal experience, hanging out with a lot of actors or different types and shades and different things, the reality is in the entertainment, I guess, in the acting world.
Did I lose you? Uh-oh, did I lose you? Let me see.
Hello?
Oh, hello? I think I lost you.
Oh, yeah, that was weird. I got something happened there.
Oh, yeah, I just heard you say in the acting world. That was the last thing I heard you say.
Oh, yeah. In the acting world, there's a certain, I guess you'd say, correct thought. There's a certain way and behavior that you're supposed to exhibit. And if you don't do that, you know, you may have some problems getting gigs or getting jobs. So I would say a lot of the actors may not really be hardcore ideologues for the left, but they present themselves that way because it's better for their career. So there's that set that pretty much just go along with it. But then there's also some people that really are very, very passionate about certain things. And then there's other people that may be liberal in some ways, but they don't like liberalism when it stops them from saying truthful things or things that they like to say. So they tend to be liberal up until that point, and then they say, "Well, I'm still going to say this."
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that, because every time I hear and see that, I'm just like, do they understand we live in America? Like, I don't get that. Like, I don't understand that. Like, we still live in America. Like, how self-important are you? Like, what, I don't get that. And like, I truly don't, like, and I consider myself to be relatively intelligent. And I don't, and I don't get that thought process. Like, I don't, like, how do you figure you can impose your thinking on someone else to the point where you can take away someone's livelihood and force them to think like you in our country?
It's also very funny because in the past, you know, I guess you'd say the moral right wing was always accused of doing the same thing. They were saying, "Oh, you're trying to make everybody Christian," or you're always trying to proselytize people about, you know, being prudish, or you know, women should do this. But now they find themselves in the unusual position of doing the same thing.
Yes.
But just in the reverse. They're very quick to think they have a monopoly on rightness.
Yes.
Which that's where they go too far.
Yes. And that's what I find to be most bizarre about it, is that they are completely blind to the fact that they are doing the exact same thing that they accuse us of. And that's the part that I don't like. I really don't get. I'm like, how can you be in such a complete and total state of denial about, well, like, it's okay, like, okay, you're all about diversity of thought as long as it's your thought. I'm like, do you understand that is absolutely the not like the antithesis of diversity of thought? Like, as long as it's not,
they lose all high ground there. That's where they lose. Then they're just, you know, and it's really any side. But when they start looking at it as a team sport, where it's just about the red team's got to win, and we'll use any argument that will help us in this instant, and then at the next instance we'll literally use the opposite argument if it serves us. That's where you lose your moral high ground now. Now you're not really about truth, and you're not really about openness or free speech. You're really just about your side, and you'll use that only when it matters. And that's the line that I think you shouldn't cross.
Absolutely. And I you know, I have a really, I struggle with that regularly, about that whole set of people, and particularly, like you said, when you cross the line into affecting someone's livelihood, affecting someone's pocketbook, that is when I particularly have an issue. That's fine. You want to give an interview and say that you disagree. All right, that's all good. That's fine. Free country. But when you are starting to campaign against that person, and you're conducting boycotts, and and you're freezing people out of getting work, that you're crossing a line. That's not cool. It's not right. So I don't think it's right anyway. And you're basically blacklisting people. That is just wrong, I think.
And isn't it funny how, not too long ago, you would always hear the liberals lionizing people that were quote unquote communists and socialists back in the 60s, and then they were saying, you would blacklist directors and blacklist writers, and they would say that you're a communist, and then because you were that, they labeled you that way, you weren't allowed to get work. And they really said how unjust that was.
Right.
But now, for some reason, they're completely okay with using those very same tactics on people that they don't like. And again, that's where they lose the moral high ground. You can't on one hand say, hey, it's bad to label people as communists and then not let them get in the movie, but it's okay for us to do that today to you.
Right.
And that's the problem.
But what I feel like I hear them saying, when I hear them defend themselves, is that, well, it's because you all are fascists. It's because you all discriminate. And when I read between the lines, what I hear is, it's because you're wrong and we're right.
Well, that's basically what it is. Yeah, they're saying, and nobody has a monopoly on right and wrong because it cuts through everything. Sometimes truth is uncomfortable.
Right. And I'm like, okay, but then we get back to diversity of thought. Like we're back to diversity of thought then, because diversity means differences. So we're back to we think differently. So if you're going to say that we need to that we as conservatives need to allow your differences in thought, then that needs to work both ways. That needs you need to reciprocate. Like you can't have that and then and then not allow us to have that. But your thought is bigotry. Well, no, it's not. And if you took 2 seconds to listen to us, you would understand it. So God's a bigot because we believe in a Bible. That means we're bigots. We're only
well. That's the problem. Like for instance, when you're getting back to theater, we are in an unusual position because when we go to do our job is to stand in front of a bunch of strangers and try to change their emotional state from being bored to being happy, right? So
right.
In order to do that, you have to persuade people and hit emotional strings on their instrument of their mind. And in order to do that, sometimes, you approach things that maybe they might not be comfortable talking about. But in the context of a show, there's like an unspoken authority that an entertainer has to say and do things that they might not do if they were standing in line at a McDonald's or something, So there is the thing that can sometimes be a challenge with the world that we live in, because, what was okay to say before is somehow frowned upon to say now. And you have to be careful about exactly where you step. And sometimes that line is different depending on the demographic, depending on the audience,
Sure.
Depending on their age, depending on the venue. So you have to really be very, very cognizant of what's appropriate, acceptable, and what's not acceptable.
And maybe the unspoken license is the fact that you're in character. So the license is, it's not necessarily you personally saying it, but you have all of these barriers in between you and the audience, right? You have the writing, you have the directing, you have the character that you're in, right? You have the mannerisms, the emotion that you're tapping into in order to develop the character. You have all of these things that you're tapping into when you're conveying the character to the audience.